This next story is rather short. It's also about Jacob. Jacob, as we remember, was Esau's twin brother. Jacob was on his way home from a long trip, and he stopped to sleep by a river one night. During the night, a man woke Jacob up and began to wrestle him. Jacob was surprised. Who is this, he wondered, and what does he want? After wrestling all night, the man begged Jacob to let him go. No, said Jacob, not until you have blessed me. The man asked, what is your name? Jacob told the man his name. The man blessed Jacob and said, now you will have another name, Israel. It means that you have wrestled with God. What a surprise! Could it really be true? Jacob had not really wrestled with a man. Jacob had wrestled with God, and God had blessed him. Jacob hurried the rest of the way home. What a story he had to tell his family. Wow. Here's a question. If you were wrestling with one of your brothers or with someone else, how long do you suppose you could wrestle with a person? Jacob wrestled with God for an entire night. Wow. I don't think I could wrestle for an entire night. How long could you wrestle before you got tired? Well, hello, boys and girls. I hope that you have been enjoying the stories that we have been sharing from your Spark Story Bible. If you would like to follow along with us today, we're going to begin with the story about Joseph and his brothers. I think many of you are probably familiar with this story already. I hope you remember that I'm the gal who reads stories during the Quest program in the reading room. My name is Miss Vicki, and I'm so happy that you want to share these stories with me. So let's find out about Joseph and his brothers. If you want to follow along in your very own Spark Bible storybook, we're starting on page 48. Here we go. Jacob lived with his family in a place called Canaan. He had many sons. One of Jacob's younger sons was named Joseph. Jacob spent more time with Joseph than with his other sons. He even had a special coat made for Joseph. It seemed to Joseph's brothers that their father loved Joseph more than he loved them. They felt sad and angry. Of course, we all know that our moms and dads love us all the same. We don't have favorites. One night, Joseph had a dream. The next morning, he couldn't wait to tell everyone about it. I dreamed we were all in the field tying stems of grain together. Suddenly, I couldn't believe my eyes. Your grain made a circle around mine and then bent over. You were bowing down to me. Isn't that exciting? Exclaimed Joseph. Do his brothers look excited? I don't think so. They said our grain did what? And they laughed. Why do you think we would bow down to you like you were some kind of a king? The brothers said angrily. Joseph hung his head and walked away, slowly and sadly. The next night, Joseph had another dream. He excitedly told everyone about it in the morning. I had an even better dream last night. I looked up into the sky, and there I was. I saw the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bow down to me. Isn't that amazing, he said. This time his father was listening. Jacob was angry with Joseph and said, why do you think your mother and I would stand next to your brothers and bow down to you as if you were a king? I don't like the strange dreams you are having. They will never come true. Now his brothers and his father were really mad at him. Luckily for Joseph, Jacob decided to send his brothers off with the sheep for a while. Later, Jacob sent Joseph to find out how Joseph's brothers were doing with the sheep. As he was getting near them, his brothers saw him coming. "Here comes our dreaming brother. Let's get rid of him," they planned. They grabbed Joseph and they threw him into a pit. Ouch! The rocks at the bottom of the pit were hard and sharp. "God, why are you doing this to me?" prayed Joseph. A group of traders walked by on their way to Egypt. The brothers thought they'd get rid of Joseph once and for all. They sold Joseph to the traders and watched as he was taken away. Oh my goodness, think about this. Have you ever had an exciting dream? What was it about? How did it make you feel? Something to think about. Our next chapter in our Bible, in our story Bible, is called Pharaoh's Dreams. Do you remember? Joseph was taken to Egypt. His brothers sold him into slavery. Let's see what the Pharaoh's dreaming about. Joseph had many hard times. His brothers sold him to a group of traders, and he was taken to Egypt, just like I said. Far away from his family, and he was put into jail, even though he hadn't done anything wrong. Joseph thought to himself, "How long will I be here? I didn't break any laws, and I'm in jail." He sighed, "Well, at least I know God will help me." Many months later, 2 men who had worked for the Pharaoh were put into jail. One morning, Joseph overheard them talking. One man said, "What does it mean?" "I have no idea, but I hope I never have a dream like that again. It was terrible," the other man said. "Mine was too," the first man replied. Joseph asked, "What's wrong?" They answered, "We had weird dreams last night. We wonder what they mean." Joseph said, "Tell me your dreams. I can explain them." The men described them to Joseph. God helped Joseph explain their dreams to them. 2 years later, Joseph was still in jail. Oh no. One of the men Joseph had helped was with the Pharaoh. Pharaoh told him, "I had a very scary dream last night. I wonder what it means." The man remembered Joseph and told Pharaoh about Joseph's way of explaining dreams. Pharaoh asked for Joseph to be brought to him. He told Joseph, "First, I dreamed I was standing by the Nile River, and out came 7 healthy, fat cows. They were eating grass, and then 7 ugly, sick, skinny cows came out and ate the fat cows." The Pharaoh continued, "Then in another dream, 7 plump, healthy ears of corn grew on a corn stalk. Then 7 thin, rotten, unhealthy ears grew and ate the healthy ones." God helped Joseph, and Joseph could tell the Pharaoh what his dreams meant. They mean that for 7 years, Egypt will have plenty of food, and then there will be 7 years when there is not enough, and people will go hungry. Pharaoh knew something had to be done. He put Joseph in charge of the whole country. Joseph saved food for 7 years, getting ready for the years when there would be a shortage of food. When there wasn't enough food in many countries, the people of Egypt had plenty. God had helped Joseph know what needed to be done. With God's help and love, Joseph did well, even through the worst of times. Here's a question. How do you think Joseph knew that God loved him, even when he was in jail? Wow, that's a hard question. What do you think?